Hi, peeps. It is Fearless Friday, and I'm just calling to share with you a story about redefining the concept of love. And if you hear a whole bunch of noise outside of the house, it's because my son is power washing our house, and I thought he would be done by now. And he's not, and so here we are. Hi, Cheryl. So I wanted to share a story with you about when it came to my understanding of what love looked like. I always thought love was selfless. I thought it was giving you the last piece of pie. It was taking care of you. It was worrying about you. It was about doing things for you. And I learned something many, many years ago, and I just wanted to quickly share that story with you. About 30, I don't know, maybe it was 40 years ago. That meant I was 25, and my dad was an alcoholic. He was an active drinker. Our childhood was crazy. He was angry. My mother was scared. It was a mess. And I was struggling with what my dad was doing to himself and consequently how it was affecting me. So I was talking with a woman, and she said, "Susan, do you love your dad?" And I said, "Of course I love my dad." And she said, "No, do you really, really love your dad?" And I said, "Yes, I really, really love my dad." And she said, "Do you love your dad enough to allow him the dignity to live out his life in his own way?" And I thought, do you mean I love my dad enough to watch him drink himself to death? And she said, "Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Do you love him that much?" And I said to her, "That's a lot of love." And she said, "It is. It's unconditional." And so I decided at that moment that I was just going to love him. I wasn't going to try to fix him. I wasn't going to try to change him. I wasn't going to judge him. I was just going to love him. If my dad needed to drink himself to death, then I needed to make friends with my own heartache, because it was his story and I had to step away. And my family ended up I think they ended up letting go as well, because within 30 days, my dad had quit drinking. And when my dad died 4 years ago, he was 35 years sober. And I'm not sure my dad would have quit drinking if we hadn't have let go, if we hadn't have made our peace with his choices. And I learned that with my children. I learned that how I love doesn't mean holding on. It doesn't mean manipulating. It doesn't mean managing. It means I love them enough to let them make their own choices and then live through their consequences without interfering and without interrupting. And it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, is to learn to live with my heart and hands open. So I just wanted to share that with you today. If that resonates with you, or you have a situation where you're learning or trying to let go, or you want to redefine your concept of love, just leave me a note in the messages and say hi and say, "Yes, I'd love to have a conversation." Because it's really all about growing up together. And sometimes it takes, sometimes it takes us till we're 80, 65, 45 to grow up. I just want to grow up. And I want to learn to live, laugh freely with grace and with courage. So I wish you all a wonderful Fearless Friday. I love you, support you on this journey. Take care and have a great weekend. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms.